Hey, so I just want to talk a little bit about a few examples using quadratics where we're multiplying and adding or subtracting a number to. Okay? So the first question is, out of these two examples, which parabola is wider? Okay? So which parabola is wider? Well, remember that this number makes the parabola really tall and skinny. This number, since it's less, it'll make it less skinny, right? So that means that number 1 is wider. Okay? 2 is less than 5, right? So that 2 is less than that 5. So that means that this parabola is going to be skinnier. So that means that one's going to be wider. Okay? Which one of these two is closer to the x-axis? Okay, well, remember on a graph, this is the x-axis, right? And this number moves the parabola up or down. So this parabola is going to be moved down 3, right? This parabola is going to be moved up 6, right? So which vertex is going to be closer? Which parabola is closer to the axis? It's that one, right? Because that's closer. This one's only 3 away. This one's 6 away. So number 1 is closer, right? So 3 is closer than 6. Okay, so 3, 6. Okay, so if we want to talk about width, we're talking about the multiplying number. If we want to talk about how far it's going, we're talking about the adding number. Okay? All right. So the next thing we're asked to do is actually graph a parabola. Okay, so we have a parabola, -3 x squared plus 4, right? And so the parabola is obviously multiplied a bit, and we're adding something to it. Okay, so that means that, so first let's think about what our original parabola looks like, right? Our original parabola looks like it has a step pattern of over 1, up 1, both sides, over 2, up 4, over 2, up 4, okay? So there is our original parabola, okay? Now, this number here, right, that number makes the parabola skinnier, right, and it makes it open down, okay? So the fact that it's a negative makes the parabola open down, okay? So this number here moves the parabola up by 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our new point right there, right? That's the new important point where the vertex is, right? And this number tells us that the points are going to go down, so our parabola is going to somehow open down. But how much down? Well, that number is 3, right? So that means that the parabola is going to be a lot thinner. So now instead of going over 1, down 1, like this one went over 1, up 1, instead of going over 1, down 1, we're going to go over 1, down 1, 2, 3, right? Because it's multiplied by 3. So over 1, down 1, 2, 3. So we're going to take that and we're going to multiply it by 3. Same on the other side, over 1, down 3, right? So the regular step pattern would have been down 1, but because of that 3, we're going to multiply that number by 3. So it goes down 3. Then the next step was over 2, up 4, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that 4 by 3. So it's going to go over 2, down 4 times 3, 12. So there's 4, 8, 12. And same on the other side, 2, 12. Okay? So the key is we look at our original step pattern, and our original step pattern says over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4. If we're multiplying it by something, we just multiply that part that we go up. So over 1, down 3 instead of over 1, up 1, right? Okay, so that's that new parabola, okay? So see how it's a lot skinnier, it's opening down because of that negative, and it's moved up by 4, okay? So lots of stuff happening. All right. Now the last thing we want to do is find an equation, okay, given a set of values, okay? So first, we need to find our vertex, right? So our vertex, since we just have a parabola moving up or down, our vertex is always at a point where x equals 0, right? So here it's 0, 4, okay? So x equals 0, there's my vertex, okay? So my vertex is at 0, 7. So that means how far up did the parabola move? Well, it moved up 7, right? So that means we can start with saying plus 7 at the end, right? And we have x squared there, okay? So the only question is, what do we multiply x squared by, okay? Well, we can find that out because you see when x goes over 1, what happens to the y value? We went down 2. And as x goes over 1, we went down 2, right? So remember how we said in our original parabola, it goes over 1, up 1, right? So the fact that the y values drop from the vertex tells us that we're going to have a negative number there, right? And the number, well, regular step pattern is over 1, up 1, right? And this one's over 1, down 2, right? So that tells us that we're taking that step and we're multiplying it by 2. So there's my formula, right? So y equals negative 2x squared plus 7. So plus 7 comes from the fact that our vertex is 7 up. The 2 comes from the fact that from the vertex, as I take one step with the x's, I take 2 steps with the y's. So that's 2. And then the last part is it's a negative because from the y values drop as we get away from the vertex. If they increased, then it would be a positive. Okay? So that's how we find equations. That's how we graph. And this is how we decide some things given equations. Okay? That's it.